What is up, guys? Millennium Legends here, and today we're going to go ahead and combine 3 Albaz Strike structure decks. So if you were to go out and pick up 3 of them and put them all together, this is what a pretty comparable deck should look like. If you guys still want to pick up one of these decks, I'll have a link for it in the description below. This is probably one of the best structure decks Konami has put out in recent memory. Pretty hyped about this. Really love the deck we were able to put together. Watched a lot of videos and tested it out a little bit, and this is what we came up with. So we're starting off with 3 branded fusion. This is absolutely mandatory for how this deck runs and the engine that supports it. Then we're going to go ahead and get into 3 Springen's kit. This is going to help search out your branded fusion. Then we're going to get into 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic, so discard 1, and this helps also search for branded fusion. And then we're going to also run 1 Gold Sarcophagus, which also helps search for branded fusion. So you essentially have 10 copies of branded fusion. So everything basically revolves around branded fusion in this deck. So if this ends up getting destroyed, negated in any way, shape, or form, we are in a very bad situation, guys. And if this does end up getting negated, hopefully we have some other cards in our hand that can help get us through the next turn to eventually pop off another one of these, so we can kind of go into our big bosses of the deck. So then after that we have triple Pot of Extravagance to hopefully draw into one of our 10 cards. And then we're also going to play triple Albion of the Shrouded Dragon. This card has 2 different effects, which are pretty cool. One basically works as an upstart goblin to help draw into one of our 10 cards that we really need. And this is also a really good discard target too, because its second effect works in the graveyard as well. And then we're going to go ahead and play 3 Branded Lost. So this, along with Branded Fusion, helps you get into some extra interruptions, and it also helps protect your fusion summon monsters too. And then we're going to go ahead and run into 3 Effect Failures. We're going to go ahead and play 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbits, and then we're going to go ahead and play 3 Warning Points. These all work as generic interruptions. If Branded Fusion for whatever reason gets negated, we can always fall back on one of those 9 cards. And then we're also going to play 3 Back to the Fronts, and then also an Artifact Scythe. And then, typically a good combo we can do is dump Scythe with Branded Fusion, and then if we see Back to the Front, we can Scythe lock our opponent. If we don't see Back to the Front, it's no biggie. We can just still move on as planned. And then we're going to play 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. If we were going second, you can possibly play 3 of these to help break your opponent's board a little bit more. Wasn't really sure what to cut. I mean, maybe you can cut an Albion if you wanted to, but if you go first, you're not really going to need 3 Fallen of Albaz because you shuffle it back into the deck with Lubellion most likely. And then we're going to play 2 copies of Tri-Brigade Mercurier. So this is also a negate interruption. You can also use it to search out Branded Lost, or you can search it off the dumping of the Mirror Jade. And this is also one of our main targets for Gold Sarcophagus, to search for the kit to end up getting into Branded Fusion. And we also have 1 Called by the Grave in case our opponent is playing an Ash Blossom. We don't want that to interrupt at all with our Branded Fusion. We're also playing 1 Branded Retribution. So most of the time we're going to have 2 fusion monsters on the board, our Albion and Mirror Jade. So we're not losing board presence. With the Retribution shuffling back the Mirror Jade. We can just shuffle back the Albion. So it's a counter trap too that also destroys the effect that it negates, which is a little bit better than the Mercurier. And when it's engraved, you can banish it to add to your hand branded spell or trap. We also have 1 Judgment of the Branded. So if Albion's in the grave, we're going to activate this to dump this for cost, and then this will place itself on the bottom of the deck. This also helps with extra interruption on the board, because during the end phase of this has been sent to the graveyard to activate an effect of an Albaz, and this is also considered an Albaz card. This is called Albaz while it's in the grave. You can set this, and this is your one-sided Regeki. So this isn't called Albaz while in the hand, so if you want to activate the Upstart Goblin-like effect that it has, you don't want to send this, you want to end up sending Branded Sword. That doesn't need to be sent to the grave by Fallen of Albaz specifically, so it's a target we can send by Albion while it's in the hand. So that is our 40 card roster, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the extra deck. So starting off, we have 3 of all the good ones. We have 3 Mirror Jade, 3 Lubellion, and then we have 3 Albion. And then we're going to have 2 of the rest, 2 Titanclad, 2 Iron Dash, and then 2 Glory Dragon. So we want to play at least one of all of them so we can have multiple options when it comes to fusioning our opponent's board away with Fallen of Albaz. Otherwise, we don't mind shuffling half of these away with Extravagance. But you may get into a really odd situation where you end up banishing all your Mirror Jades, which is not ideal, actually. Might end up being an instant loss. So moving on to the extra deck, we have triple Radiant, triple Thunder King, and then triple Dark Ruler No More if you're going second. And then we also have triple There Can Only Be One and triple Dimensional Barrier if you're going first, if we're in situations where you're going up against decks that get wrecked pretty hard. So overall, this is a very good deck. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. This deck, like I said before, you can do a lot of really cool things with, but everything kind of revolves around branded fusion. So just keep that in mind. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And like I said in the description, I'll have links for the structure deck if you guys haven't picked one up yet. One of the best structure decks Konami has released. And I will talk to you guys on the next video. You guys have a great day.